TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, welcome to another episode of My River District. I'm sitting here today with members of the Kiwanis Club of Owen Sound, Linda Van Aalst and Drew Ferguson. And we are talking all things Kiwanis because you guys are 100. Hold on, wait a second.
Not us.
The group is 100.
Yes, not us personally. Perhaps if we combined our ages, Drew, we
don't look at that.
Yeah, we don't look 100. But yeah, it's exciting.
That's an incredible feat.
It certainly is.
So, I mean, 1925 in Owen Sound saying, hey, we need people to help and enrich the community, support the community, and ultimately support children in the community as well.
That's right.
And you've been going at it for 100 years.
100 years.
100
and when
years.
they started, right off the bat, because Kiwanis was founded in Michigan in 1915, and then the next club was, the Canadian club was in 1916, and that was in Hamilton.
Okay.
At that point it became international, and of course it's worldwide now. But our club was started January 1925. They started organizing the club in Owen Sound, and I think right off the bat they had something like 56 people sign
wow.
up. Right off the bat. I mean, it's amazing.
And you guys have kept membership up.
We have.
There's quite a few of you. It's going strong. It's great.
We are, I'm trying to remember, are we?
We're just at the 60 mark.
I thought it was 70, the last one Jim sent out, and that we are like number 4 in our district, which includes Eastern Canada and the Caribbean.
That's fantastic. Speaking of the Caribbean, there's always trips there for Kiwanis members who are on the board and things like that. So
there used to be.
Yeah.
Because at one point we held our midwinter convention in Jamaica, which was lovely. I happened to be on the board at that time. But now they've changed it and they've moved it, and I think it's in Niagara Falls this time.
Niagara Falls, end of May.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
No. Jamaica in January was lovely.
I bet. I bet. So 100 years of service to Owen Sound. How are you celebrating that this year?
Go ahead, Drew.
Well, the key celebration is a gala. We're pulling out all the stops and putting together just an extravaganza at the Bayshore Community Center on May 10th. And that's a full course dinner and bringing in keynote speakers.
It's really exciting that so as I said, Kiwanis is international now. Our international vice president, who we never see, is coming to Owen Sound.
Right.
She's going to be our keynote speaker. Also, our governor for our district of Eastern Canada and the Caribbean is coming as well. So those are two high-profile Kiwanians that are coming to our club.
Sure.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's been around for 100 years. That means something.
It sure does. And when you think, I was looking back, because one of the things we're having done is we got Richard Thomas to do a book, and it's titled 100 Years of Service, which is incredible when you think of all the work we've done. And I said one of the first, I was leafing through it again the other day, well, online because it isn't published yet, but right after we were founded, Owen Sound City Council approached us to see if we would help with fundraising for the new arena at that time, which was downtown, and some people will remember where it was a long time ago.
In the old Metro parking lot.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful old arena.
Sure.
Yeah.
I remember playing hockey in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the Coliseum. And that was the oldest arena that I remember.
Okay. No, well, the one downtown, and Canadian Tire was right beside it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so fun. And I love the history of Owen Sound. I love that Kiwanis are kind of intertwined through all of the history of Owen Sound. And having Richard Thomas, one of the great historians of Owen Sound, write it, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
As I said, I was one of the proofreaders, so I was reading through it, and even I, having belonged to Kiwanis in different degrees over the years, I was amazed at some of the things that we had done.
Right.
It's mind-boggling, actually. One of the things, way back when they first started, of course, Kiwanis is helping children. And I believe we go to from pre-birth up to 18, I think is usually the cutoff, but sometimes we make exceptions. But way back when they first started, there were 2 young boys from one family at Owen Sound that were blind. And anyway, one of the ophthalmologists here realized that it was caused by a special kind of cataract. So they got the funds, took them to Toronto, had the surgery done, and the boys came back, and then they could see, and they were able to go to school. And that was like way back in the 30s, 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I got a little bit misty there.
I know, it pulls your heartstrings when you think of things like that we've done over the years, besides
Right.
all the big projects, but all the small individual folks that we've helped.
I mean, all the students. I was at my nephew's graduation from St. Mary's this year, and Kiwanis offers up like this subsidy or support
Bursaries
or
and-
bursary and all those kinds of things, like, and Kiwanis and Kiwanis and Kiwanis and Kiwanis. It's like, okay, these kids can really make it because of the support, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And I know that that happens in other schools as well. It just so happens I was at St. Mary's.
We set, when we do our budget, every year we set so much aside for things like the bursaries, and of course Kiwanis Music Festival we support, and I'm not sure when this will air, but we're having a turkey roll this Saturday to we're hoping to raise $10,000 again to go towards bursaries.
So the specific date of that is
The 12th, I think.
9th, 10th,
April 12th.
12th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bursaries for them so they can continue their education in music, which
Right.
is so very important. And when you think back, I believe it was Bob Hall, who, I'm sure he's retired now, but he was one of the students that took part in it, and he went on to get his degrees, different degrees in music, and ended up teaching at one of the universities. I can't remember where, but of course most people around here are familiar with Katie Gleiser.
Right.
And Katie, I think she said she started performing at the festival when she was 6. Of course now she's a world-renowned pianist.
Right. But Kiwanis gave them a platform to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I love that. And that the Kiwanis Festival of Music is coming up when?
It's through the middle of August to ending on,
No.
I mean, April. let's say
April,
that.
yeah, because I'm
Pardon
trying
me.
to think what
Ending
day
on the
I'm
25th, I
volunteering.
think, yeah.
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 And if
So
you
it-
have the opportunity to go,
Right.
for any of them, and most especially at the end, there's a Festival of Stars.
Yeah.
And those are made up of contestants who may not all have been gold winners, but have been, a lot of them, the adjudicators have given them a special award.
Okay.
And you see these kids that are like this high, they have to almost get booster seats on the piano stool to get up there, and it's incredible, just incredible how talented they are.
And you might be seeing a future star.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really incredible.
Yeah.
In addition to all of these other things, let's talk about what you've done historically in Owen Sound.
Well,
So-
I brought some sheets because I knew I would never remember.
I wrote it on the back of my card.
Well, there you go.
Santa Claus Parade.
Oh,
That
yes.
is
Well,
80 years this year?
yes, I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah.
Santa Claus Parade
80
is 80
years
this year.
in
yeah.
Owen Sound, Kiwanis Santa Claus Parade. That's phenomenal. I think the last couple of years we've had well over 10,000 people lining the streets of the River District for this parade to go through, which is phenomenal. Plus, post-COVID, it changed to an evening parade,
That's right. and
which
that
is
was
so
great.
fun.
Yeah.
It is.
It's so much
For
fun.
years, people were opposed to having an evening parade for what different reasons, whatever. So it did. I think it took COVID to kind of push people out of their comfort zone.
Reset.
And reset and realize they could combine the Festival of Northern Lights with the Santa Claus Parade. They're not competing against each other.
No.
It's all part of a big celebration at Owen Sound to kick off the holiday season.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I wanted to start back actually.
I was going to add one more thing about
Yeah.
the parade. The parade is scheduled already for November 15th this year, and the theme is walking down memory lane.
Oh, that should
So
bring
to
out some
remember,
great...
recognize the 80 years that the parade
I
has been
love
underway.
that. Well, I hope a lot of people, and this is me out to the community, I hope a lot of people have very historical type floats and things like that in it this year. Of course, with beautiful lights, because
And that's the thing that's
nighttime
changed
parade.
with the parade over the years. The last few years, we've seen people putting a lot more thought and work into their floats, which is great. Nobody wants to see just a car driving down the street with posters on the side. The kids want to see floats. They want to see magic.
yes.
You know? So that was, this year, I was really impressed with the floats.
Yeah, I think it's so great. And honestly, 2 years ago now, when it nearly got closed because of, or stopped because of the snow, you guys remember that year? It was great. Still so many people came out, and watching the community groups who are driving like the little cars,
Yes.
just like spinning out and doing all these like donuts and stuff in the snow was my favorite thing. And
One year, and Mark Perry from Rogers, of course, was around then doing the parade. One year there was such a storm that they had to get the city snowplows out first to clear the street before the parade could start.
and you guys have never canceled one because of the,
No.
never once. Close a couple years ago, but never once.
Close, and I can remember because, of course, I'm one of the commentators usually.
Sure.
I was brushing the snow off my notes so I could read it because you couldn't really see. The cameras were there, but you couldn't see what was going by. It was snowing so hard, so I
Yeah.
had to go by my notes and keep clearing them off.
Oh my gosh, I was running around. We had little overhead heaters, and they just kept basically blowing over. So I'm holding those up, trying to make warmth for people. And then you see these little cheerleaders out on the street doing flips and stuff in running shoes
Yes.
in the snow.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it was a great time. I mean, we live in Great Bruce. What do you want?
That's right. That's what it's all about. I kind of wanted to go back and start at the beginning because
Yeah.
a lot of people may not realize. And one of our big projects and fundraisers is Whispering Pines Campground,
Oh, yes.
which Kiwanis owns, right? And that was purchased, in the 40s, I believe.
Yeah.
And because at that time, the highway used to get closed all the time for blowing sand coming across there.
Blowing sand.
Sand.
Okay.
Yeah. And it would make huge drifts and the highway would be closed. So a few enterprising Kiwanians decided that we should buy it, bought it, and started planting trees. So,
And that started the Christmas tree sales.
yes, it did. So by 1955, there were 45,000 trees planted.
Wow.
And so then they realized as those trees were growing, we should be planting these for Christmas trees. So they switched to Scotch pine then, maybe they were already planting some of those, and then started cutting them and selling them. Well, of course, now we can't do that because those trees are too big.
Sure.
Way too big. So we do, is it Somerville, I forget which nursery we use to
Yeah.
get our trees from now, but yeah, huge fundraiser
Bring in
for us.
1,000 trees a year
Yeah.
for
And
the
it's
Christmas
so fun
trees.
to sell them. No, I've had the privilege of being able to sell
Yeah,
them.
it's
and
fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You get to meet all sorts of different people, and they're all excited. Everybody's happy to be buying their Christmas tree. So it's really a
People
great...
come year after year. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Once you start buying your Christmas tree from the Kiwanis, you just
It
buy your
becomes a
Christmas tree.
family
And people
tradition.
come from
Whole-
way up.
yeah, and families come out, the whole family,
Yeah.
from the little tiny ones to their grandparents, and they're all out there just looking, is this the one for our house? And
Well, on that note, we'll come back, talk a little bit more about Christmas trees, but we're going to go to break, and we'll see you soon.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking on Rogers TV. Join me this fall for more interviews with our local, provincial, and federal politicians. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to my River District. I'm sitting down with Linda Van Aalst and Drew Ferguson of Kiwanis, and we were talking trees. So the trees were originally planted at Whispering Pines to stop sand drifts, not snow drifts. Who knew? We had two issues, summer and winter, right? And then that turned into tree sales.
And that's a major fundraiser for us. And as Drew said, people have so much fun coming out, the kids. And one of the best ones I ever had, though, was the one night I was working. This guy came, his pickup truck comes out, and I'm like, you know, can I help you? Well, I want the ugliest tree you've got. I'm like, seriously? Yes, my mother likes an ugly tree. So every year we get an ugly tree. I'm like, oh, well, okay.
We've got one of those.
Yeah, we'll find you one.
That's amazing.
I know.
I love the love for an ugly tree.
Yeah.
Is it Charlie Brown? Charlie Brown with the tree?
Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah. So I love that.
Most people want just the perfect one, and they're visualizing where they're putting it in the house. And
who doesn't love a little character, though? Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so trees. Man, we've got about 13 minutes left, and we've got a lot to cover. So let's talk about some of the things that you did in the community, or have done, or working on, and those kinds of things. The soccer complex.
I have got a list here of funds, donations we have done. I don't have the exact amount for some of them, but we started right off the bat when the club was formed with dental care.
Oh, yes.
For children who could not their parents couldn't afford to get them the dental care. And I guess one thing I should say, when we do our budgeting, and we set so much money aside for bursaries, for whatever, we have a fund called Kiwanis Kids Outreach. Mm-hmm. And what that is if your child is having needs of some sort, you can contact them. It's all confidential. Mm-hmm. So it could be glasses, it could be teeth, it could be even music lessons if they're very talented and you can't afford to continue. But that's all done confidentially.
Sometimes some exceptional or special need that the child may have that isn't covered in any other way.
Special wheelchairs, all kinds of things. So
I think that's really lovely.
Yeah. So that's one thing that people never hear about, is that all of that money. But so the big projects, Whispering Pines, and then in 1929, again, the city approached us. Kiwanis Rotary and Kinsman raised funds to get the YMCA going again.
Oh, wow.
Because it had been going, and then for whatever reason it fell apart.
Okay.
So got that going again. 1944, again, the city thought we needed more playgrounds. And so we fundraised and did 2 playgrounds at St. Julian's Park and at Alexandra Park, and hired staff to oversee them so that kids were safe when they were there. Of course, Santa Claus Parade, Kiwanis Apartments. A lot of people aren't familiar with these because they're from before. So the Kiwanis Apartments are on 7th Avenue East, I believe. And the city, it was a seniors complex at that time. So we gave them $25,000 for a common room for all seniors to use, so they could come out and play cards, bingo. I think they could cook in there, do all kinds of things. Of course, the music festival, we started sponsoring that in 1969, and then again, it's community living now, and it was called ARC at that time. We raised $50,000 to help them expand their building down on 4th Avenue East. So a lot of money. Then, of course, most people will be familiar with what we've done lately. $50,000 to the community auditorium at the OSCBI, the old OSCBI.
Right.
I'm not sure how much it gets used now. That's kind of a bone of contention with a lot of people because a lot of organizations from around the city donated money to have that in there so that it could be used for events. I'm not sure how much it's used now. So soccer complex, $150,000 to that. And there are now 11 soccer fields there. Accessible playground at Harrison Park, $150,000. Skate and bike park, that was $100,000. Then someone approached us for Chapman House and said how there was a young dad was in there, and they had to have one of the kids' birthday parties there while he was in Chapman House. But there was really nowhere for kids to go to spend time.
Right.
So we gave them $125,000 to start a kids' room, although it's used by a lot of adults apparently, especially when hockey games are on. And we give them $5,000 a year to keep it updated with new games, and it's just Chapman House is such a wonderful facility. We're so fortunate to have it, and
It's an asset to the community for sure.
it is, and the doors are wide enough that they can wheel the beds in, so if you wanted to have a family party or whatever in that room, you can bring the person that's in Chapman House into it.
Yeah, I know it's brought a lot of joy to people who are in their darkest of days at that time.
Yes, that's right. That's a good way to put it. In 2019, we donated $100,000 for the Kiwanis kitchen at O'Share.
Yes, that was amazing.
Which I was reading the other day as to how many meals they do now. It's a lot.
Well, I volunteer there regularly, and over a lunch hour we'll do 200, 220, 225 on a daily basis. So whatever that adds up to.
Yeah, and then of course one of our latest ones was the Reconciliation Garden down at, and I'm not going to pronounce the name, but Kelso Beach Park.
At Nawash Park, yep.
Is it just called Nawash? Because
Kelso
when I was
Beach.
looking it up, the name was about this long, and I thought, no, I'm not even going to try it.
It's Kelso Beach at Nawash Park.
Okay, yeah. So that's just, actually just a few.
Yeah. Do we hit everything on my gigantic list here? Yes, I think so. And all of that money, while it's fundraised by Kiwanis, it takes the
Volunteers.
community to give that money, to support it, to take part in these, turkey roll events and come to the gala.
Yeah, so our gala, do you want to talk about the gala,
The
Drew?
gala, May 10th, yes. Get your tickets through Linda.
I should have given you my email so you could
We can
have
put it on the screen.
Okay.
We'll just put it right here.
So people can contact me to get tickets. It's $90 a ticket. It's a gala evening. It's going to be wonderful. A lot of work's gone into it already. It's at the Bay Shore. So we're really hoping that people that we have supported over the years will come out to help us celebrate this amazing event. We'd certainly like to see all our community partners
And all the old members,
Yes.
we'll put the call out to anyone who ever was associated with Kiwanis to come
Right.
on out.
I've been
and
trying to
join us at
track
that
them down, but
celebration.
now with cell phones and if people retire, then they don't have the same email. So some I've contacted, some I haven't had any luck. So if you know anybody who was a member of Kiwanis, please let them know, because we'd love to have them come out to celebrate all these.
And if your life was touched by Kiwanis, maybe you're one of those kids who received a bursary for school and it allowed you to, it benefited you in life to be able to go and learn and all those kinds of things. Or maybe you have a really great smile now and that makes you confident. Maybe they've had to eat at O'Share and they have the means now to come and be part of the gala. There's just been so many people that you've touched in this community, outside of the community as well, because Owen Sound draws from all of the surrounding areas.
And we have gone outside. I know we have a playground at Nayash Ningaming, which we donated the playground equipment for them.
Amazing.
I'm trying to think of some other ones, but we help out where we can.
Right.
And that's Kiwanis' motto, changing the world one child, one community at a time.
And we have an event coming up actually on May 3rd it's a busy like 30 days or so for the Kiwanis.
Exactly.
Because the River District is working with the Kiwanis, the Optimists, the Junior Optimists, Owen Sound Police, and Scenic Cycle for the Wheel and Ride event, which has now given out, and I think we did a retally, over 150 bikes since its inception just a couple years ago. All of these bikes are donated, and kids
And bicycle helmets.
and helmets, yes, because you're not allowed to give out used helmets. They have to be new helmets. So the Kiwanis puts funds forward to be able to do that. And so kids who might otherwise not have a bicycle, which can provide really important transportation for them to get to school or get groceries or support their family in whatever way they can. It's a small act, but it can make a huge impact.
Yeah.
So we're excited to be bringing that back on May 3rd. I know there'll be a whole contingent of the Kiwanis there supporting. Hopefully we don't get a monsoon this year. But even still, it was so fun last year.
Who doesn't remember their first bicycle?
Right?
Well, I was going to say, what a sense of freedom, right?
Yeah,
I can remember getting my first bike and
Yeah.
learning to
Yeah.
ride it, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mine had a
This is
great big
awesome.
banana seat, which frankly are way more comfortable than the seats that they have today. So go banana seats. Of course, it was the 80s. We didn't wear helmets.
I was going to say, we're not talking about the age difference here.
Well, that's fine. But yes, so May 3rd, we want everybody to come out because even if you're not getting a bike, even if you don't need a bike, there's a charity barbecue. So come out, have a couple of hot dogs, get a bag of chips, a bottle of water, that kind of stuff, and complete the obstacle course. Get yourself a sticker, this, Wheel and Ride Road Warrior, if they come in the mail soon enough. And just be part of it. Learn the rules of the road, regardless if you have a bike or not. Come out and be part of it. We've got a couple of plasma cars as well that people can have a go at. And I know the police have a tiny little police vehicle that you can also do the course in.
That goes back years and years to Safety Officer Al Hay and days before that.
I was on the original bicycle safety committee in Owen Sound, and I thought I'd never. This will sound awful. Get off it. My daughter was almost through high school before because it started out for young children, right? You just couldn't escape off the committee, but it was a lot of fun, and that's when it first started. And then, of course, it just took a break for a while and came back.
Well, the Wheel and Ride is based off of me going to a bike rodeo down my street in the cul-de-sac with Constable Hay. And it was so memorable that I was like, well, we need to do this.
I would have been there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was the
would have
little
been
tiny
there.
one with curly hair.
Okay. Well, I would have been there.
Who was Elmer? Who was inside Elmer?
Oh gosh, I don't know. But we have run out of time. So many great things. May 10th for the gala. Get your tickets. We'll put the email on the screen for everybody. And we'll have it out for everybody to know. Get your tickets now. Support the Kiwanis because they've supported you at some point.
I should say it's being catered by Chef Chilou.
Okay.
So
fantastic. It's gonna be
downtown chef.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining me today. You guys have done such incredible work for this community. Laundry list of things. So come out and help on May 10th. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com. With Canada's sovereignty and economy under threat, this election is a defining moment for the country.
There's so much on the line.
Get to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa. Hear from your local candidates during Rogers TV's coverage of the local campaign. And on election night, Rogers TV delivers the local results. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
Are you a passionate content creator ready to expand your audience reach? Do you have unique stories, captivating hobbies, or special interests that deserve a spotlight? Rogers TV is here to amplify your voice within the community. We offer you the platform to broadcast your content to a wider audience.